What is going on, everybody? It has been a while since I've made a video, but I wanted to jump on and give a little update as to my current training plan and what I've been up to. For the past, I want to say 6 months, maybe longer, to be honest, um, I've been like having a lot of, I've been having a struggle with following a training routine. So I figured this would be a great video to post for anyone out there who's in the same situation and kind of my thought process in overcoming that. So I am a certified personal trainer. I've been a certified personal trainer for over 10 years now. It isn't my main job, but I've always kept up to date, and fitness has always been a passion of mine. So I enjoy working out. However, I tend to get very bored by routines. I like to constantly be pushing and pushing and pushing, which is not always the optimal way to train. Actually, very little is it the optimal way to just constantly be trying to max out and trying to lift as heavy as possible. So I tend to start a routine. I'll get into it. The first couple weeks always go good, and then I decide to switch to something else. And I end up just program hopping. So for the past 6 months, honestly, it might be like a year, it's been constantly, I will get into a groove and then I will switch my program because I decide that I want to shift my goal, or I am just bored of the way the routine is going. And this is with, I have purchased so many different programs from so many different trainers and um, just different people and different goals. So I have powerlifting programs, I have bodybuilder programs, I have a combination of both, I have athletic programs, I have calisthenics programs, I have created my own programs of all of those as well, that I've sold in the past. So I have a lot of options that I can choose from. Maybe that's a detriment, maybe not, but I have been struggling so hard, and I actually did, I want to say it was maybe a couple months now, a 30-day blitz program, which was essentially 30 days. You were doing 2 workouts a day, you were doing 2 cardio sessions a day, and you were following a strict meal plan. Um, that was more so, I did it because it was 30 days, so I figured, you know what, if it's only 30 days, I have a better chance of sticking to it. However, I knew it was very aggressive, but at the same time, I did want to lose a little bit of weight anyway, so I decided that I was going to follow this 30-day plan and then go from there to try to just kind of reverse diet and allow my body to kind of adapt to normal life again in a slow process, which actually went pretty well. I did manage to follow it for the 30 days. Things went good. However, it was way too much, so it's not something that I would be able to sustain for a prolonged period of time. So I stopped doing my I intended to just cut down on the cardio, so I was going to leave one cardio session every second day, because cardio sessions were an hour long, as well as just try to train once a day, because I love working out. It's always something that I enjoy doing. Once I actually get into working out, it's never an issue. But I have been struggling. I was struggling before that, and that's why I decided to do it. I figured, you know what, let's instill some discipline and try to keep that going. And honestly, once I stopped the 30 days, I probably kept it going for another month of like consistency and um, kind of following a plan. And then I'm pretty sure I like had started getting sick or something. So then that was kind of my excuse to just throw it out the window. And now I am still trying to figure out what plan I want to follow and what I kind of want to do. I've been just winging it, working out in my garage because the gym has just been insanely crazy and I hate that. And I've also been struggling with my sleep to allow me to get up super early and train. I just have not been feeling going to the gym. So I've been training at home. But I essentially, my intention now is to pick a plan, see it through. Most plans that I mean you can purchase out there and things like that, like most of them are anywhere between like 8 and 12 weeks long, maybe even 16 weeks. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to stick to a 12-week plan, so essentially like 3 months. Um, right now I've been really enjoying lifting heavier. So I do want to do some powerlifting, but at the same time, I'm constantly trying to transform my physique into my ideal physique. So that is also always a goal. So right now, I am leaning towards. I have Jeff Nippard's power building program, which is essentially a combination of powerlifting, and then you also have bodybuilding workouts, so hypertrophy type workouts, because I don't want to let my strength slip too much, and at the same time, I still want to build that muscle and do those higher volume sets. So I'm thinking that's what I'm gonna do. My mind's pretty well made up. The routine that I typically follow is a 5-day routine, so it's back-to-back full body days. But the way that he lays it out, it actually makes sense as to why you would hit full body 2 days in a row, and then you take a rest day, and then you hit it 3 days, and then the following week is like your hypertrophy, so more your bodybuilding style as opposed to the powerlifting. So it's pretty neat, but that is what I am going to attempt to do. So when I am deciding on a program, it's very important if it's something that you're not interested in, obviously you're not going to stick to it, or you're going to have a much lower chance of completing that plan. So keep that in mind when you're deciding to pick a routine as well. I found what is easiest for me is at the time when I'm switching programs or whatever I'm doing, I tend to stick better with somebody who I am like following, who they're putting out a lot of content. They have a lot of information and I'm very interested in the way that they train in their modality. And it just at the time, like, we have the same mindset, and I find it much easier to follow that plan knowing that, hey, you know what, this makes sense to me, and I think this is the way that I need to train at this time. So find somebody that you likes, find somebody that has like that personality that you really can attach yourself to, and I find that also will make it a little bit easier. Then you also want to take into account the frequency and what the actual goal is. So I mean, if you're following a professional athlete and you're trying to follow their program, but you don't intend on ever competing in the sport, you don't play the sport even recreationally, then you might not end up sticking to it because it doesn't directly translate into your real life goals. So pick a routine that makes sense to where you are in life or where you want to get to. Don't just jump onto that football player looks awesome and look at the way he moves. Training like him isn't necessarily going to be the same thing, because you have to be able to take into account what are they doing for recovery. And a lot of the programs, the recovery is very vague or it's not laid out perfectly. So you want to kind of just go with something that suits your needs at the time, as well. Yeah, like I said, frequency. So how many days can you train? How long do you want to train for? Usually I train for about an hour. I like to do like 5-6 days of training a week. Not necessarily because I want to, but it's more so because that's what keeps me consistent. I find like if I train less, like I've done programs in the past where you're working out 3 days a week, and those are fine, and you will definitely see results if you adhere to the program, as long as it's built by somebody who knows what they're doing. But at the same time, I tend to find I get bored, or on those off days I will, decide that I'm going to eat like garbage, or I'm less accountable for my actions because I'm not in like that training mindset. So for me, I like doing 5-6 days a week. I find on days when I'm working out, I find it much easier to stick to my nutrition plan because I'm essentially fueling for performance and trying to really optimize that. Whereas if I'm doing 3 days, I don't know. I find I fall off so much easier. So yeah, I would say, look for somebody that truly interests you. See if they're offering programs. If not, I mean, what program are they running? Or find something similar. Figure out how many days you want to train, and then as well figure out how you want to train. Do you want to train like an athlete? Do you want to train like a power lifter? Do you want to train like a bodybuilder? Do you want to train for flexibility and mobility and range of motion? Do you want to do a yoga class? Or like, figure out what it is that you truly want to do. Don't just jump on something because it's like, hey, that person has a nice physique, I want to get that physique, because chances are whatever that person did to get that is not going to work for you. Everybody is so individual that you got to test it out, you got to play with it, you got to see what is going to work for you for like a sustainable length of time. And that's not to say that your interest can't shift. You can definitely, start out as doing powerlifting, and then kind of as you finish one program, you can transition into another, and you can start, sculpting that body that you want. But try to find a program, stick to it as best as possible, and see where it takes you. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video just to kind of go over like what I'm struggling with. It has been a long struggle, but I'm hoping that I can finally stick to it and get some results. But until next time, peace.